Okay, let's see. Can you guys hear me now? There we go. Okay. So how's everyone doing today? I changed one of the settings on the on OBS, and it looks like it completely just bricked some of the audio settings there. So looks like it's fixed now. First thing I want to get done, same thing I've done in some of these past few streams. I just want to get the latest batch of DPS channel invites done. This doesn't take very long. So I'm gonna pop open the display capture here. I'm gonna go in and just get these invites done quick. So how's everyone doing on this lovely Sunday? The Vesta, if you don't have any of the existing Vestas and you really want the traits or consoles, it's not the worst deal ever at $60. But if you already have the existing Vestas, I would argue that those are probably better ships. So for most people, I can't really recommend it that highly. It's just not that good of a ship. Not for the cost of it, at least. Like it's not that it's terrible. It's just for $60, it's hard to justify that with how little of an improvement it is versus what we already have. So data, remove duplicates. Like, I thought about getting it, but in the end, I did not. You know, it was just a bit of money to drop for something that wasn't like it was a ship that I was never going to use. So why spend $60 on a ship that I'm never going to use? You know, that's basically how I looked at it. So the ground invites are done. I'm gonna move on to Prime. I know this is not the most engaging thing for me to do on stream, but just doing this, the channel invites on stream is a good way to, for me to make sure, you know, just a schedule of when I'm doing them. So it's helping reinforce that I am actually getting them done, if that makes sense. Yeah, if you didn't have the others, then it was definitely a very good deal. So there's lots of new invites here, but most of these are duplicates, so I got to remove all of the duplicates when I go through and am getting this all done. So like out of the hundreds I just had on this, there's only ended up actually being like 6 or 7 new invites that need to go out for Prime. So I'm gonna get those sent out quick. And then the last channel to do is Elites. Elites takes the longest because Elites has the most people out of it of the channels that I am doing invites for here on the stream. So let me get Firefox open again. Looks like it's still going. There it goes. For elites, there's a lot of invites that go out there. That's the because elites is based on doing 150k in uh, ISA, ISC, or HSC. Surprisingly, I think ISA ends up having the fewest entries out of all the methods. At least that's what it looks like sometimes when I'm doing these invites. Alan, how's it going? Just getting the latest batch of DPS channel invites done. Or is that just out? Right now, this is the situation. I need one of them scroll wheels on the Logitech mice where I can just keep scrolling down. That's what I need for doing these invites. So there's 6,000 people that have qualified for, or 6,000 characters that have qualified for elites. But when I remove all of the duplicates here, you're going to see that many people have multiple characters that they tend to qualify with. So out of the 6,000 that were there, only 1,500 will remain after it removes the duplicates. So there's definitely a few invites to go out here, but not as many as you would think. So just getting those sent out. That should be it for the Deeps channel stuff there. Once I get these done. Yeah. So there's the invites for ground, elites, and prime. I'll get the 10k ones after the stream. Those go through a different method that I'm not going to show on screen because it's part of the admin tool for those ones. So let me go to the DPS Discord, and under invite request, I will note that the latest batch of invites went out today. Had like 2 weeks worth of invites to get caught up on there, or almost 3 weeks actually. So for STO, my dailies are destroy Voth ships, anti-proton damage, ground and space. These will take me just a few minutes to do. Red, how you doing? So for the space side of things, I'm just gonna hop in my legendary bug ship quick and just go into a storm the spire solo, engage a few Voth ships at the start, get the damage done, and then warp out. So I need to swap anti-proton weapons. So I know there's been a lot of people having issues with the loadout system, and apparently a lot of the changes that have hit it for it recently, they're completely intentional. Basically loadouts are now forced upon you. As soon as you get a ship, it has a loadout on it. Right when you get it from the shipyard or lockbox, whatever, it's got a loadout forced on it, and they persist between space and ground. So if you make changes on the ground to beam up to space, but you didn't save it while you're on the ground, then you're screwed because it's going to revert to the only loadout that it knows, which is all the stock gear on it. So if you make any change to your build at all, you have to save a loadout now. It's forced by the game that you have to have a loadout. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it is what it is. I don't have evasive. Oh no, there's evasive. Yeah, I would say there's not much going on most sides of STO right now. Let me turn the game sound down a little bit. That looked like it was loud. Let me know if the game sound is a bit loud and is going over me talking, because I'll turn it down even more. Steven, how you doing? I've seen, speaking of console captains, Trizander has been doing a lot of console-focused content. Um, he seems to be enjoying the game on console, and he's producing a fair bit of content for console STO people. So if you haven't checked out Triz's channel, let me get you the link for that. But Triz is he's growing his YouTube channel quite well. He's been covering a lot of console stuff. He is a bit more of a casual player. Like if we're being, true about it. He's a bit more casual than I am, but what he does is good. He's a fairly competent player. He just prefers the canon play style and to play the game a bit more casually, but he's a good player. I have plenty of non-torpedo ships, Bridger. It's just most of the time, I'm doing really high-end stuff, and I chase the meta. So those two of the endeavors done there. That's why I had anti-proton weapons on a Polaron build. Yeah, I think it just depends on how you're approaching the game. I think there are parts of the game that console does better, especially the auto activation of abilities. Uh, but for me as a min max player, I could never play the game on console. I am getting a lot of packet loss right now. Hey guys, give me just a second here. I'm gonna try to, or I guess I can do this live. Let's see if this helps. Hopefully the quality's not too much worse, but I lowered the bit rate slightly in OBS because it looks like it was dropping quite a few frames. Yeah, it hasn't dropped any frames since I lowered the bit rate. Oh, I spoke too soon. Hold on, I'm gonna just briefly stop the stream and restart it. So just give me just a minute here. Oh, it's still messing up. Oh, not. Yeah, the FPS keeps going up and down. I don't know what's going on there. I have pretty much everything else closed, so I don't know why it's messing up. MF Collie, how you doing? Yeah, I'm getting quite a bit of frame drops right now. Let me... I don't know what's causing it to mess up. Um, but the thing with PC, you don't need the highest end PC to play STO. Um, I was playing this game perfectly fine for the first few years that I played on an old AMD FX based system with a 7850. So you don't need the most powerful hardware for that. Give me just a second. Okay. Um, okay, I need to do anti-proton damage on the ground. Yeah, if there's any like lag on the stream too, just let me know. It's not using that much of the CPU, but it keeps saying that there's some frames dropped due to rendering lag, and I've lowered the bitrate. I've uh, I've changed things up a bit, and it's still messing up for some reason today. Yes, I have seen the reshade mod, and I've seen some of the other mods that have popped up for STO. I just have not messed around with them yet. Mom, thank you for the $2. Uh, the reshade mod is something I might mess with at some point, alongside some of those other mods that have been popping up. But I just haven't gotten around to it yet. To be honest, most of May was quite frustrating for me to try and play the game, especially with the type of content that I like to do. The server performance was abysmal for most of last month, and last night was the first night of me doing runs with the group that I run with where the server felt like it was performing well. So, thank you again, Mother. Uh, open all DOS option console side. Yeah. So I need to do anti-proton damage on the ground. So even your ground stuff, apparently people have been talking about it reverting, like as soon as you change maps and things like that. Just a few issues here and there for sure. For Operation Wolf, when I go through and just want to get some ground damage done quick, I'll just do a solo Operation Wolf. I'll stay in there long enough for me to get the damage done, and then I just bail out of the map. Ralston, how's it going, man? Waiting for this map to load. Not much, just getting the lovely endeavors done. Waiting for the map to load. Thank you, Alan. Yeah, there's some weird dips I keep noticing with the frames, like the frame rate. It's weird. Terrible. Absolutely terrible, Ralston. How dare you? Ralston is someone that I used to do a lot of PvP with back in the day. Some of my earlier videos on the channel, uh, me and him would go in with like Galaxy X dreads into PvP and just vape people basically. Just go and basically set the Galaxy builds up as vapors where they can just nuke the enemies. Yeah, pretty much. Now I got the damage done. Now I need them to kill me so I can get out of the map faster. That's all the Endeavor's done for today. Yeah. That was a fun time, PvP back in the day. That was before specializations came out, before a lot of this power creep. Like just in the last 3 years, there's been so much power creep. Ralston, I only have the game sound on while I'm streaming here. Otherwise, it's a pretty silent background. Well, even for PvE, there's been a lot of power creep in the past few years. I know a lot of the focus goes towards like torpedo builds right now because that's what most people see shoved at them on YouTube here. Uh, but every build type has seen a massive amount of power creep. Like beams have seen a lot of power creep. Cannons have seen a lot of power creep. Uh, there's been a lot of power creep for literally everything. You're loving the new ground set, Dwayne? I have not messed with it. I unlocked it yesterday. I did the event completely free. Uh, I got it yesterday, but I have not used it. I have not really done much ground recently. Okay. I'm just looking through, the fun thing for me is doing this marketing stuff, trying to make EC, and I was looking at making a Jemadar DPS character, and then I decided against it. Jemadars, in theory, if you have the really expensive Gamma pack and you do a Gamma, like a Jemadar Vanguard, in theory, they have a higher DPS potential with weapons based builds than a Romulan does, because they can get more crit chance than a Rami, but uh, it's a lot of investment, and even for me, like the DPS race is so dead right now that I don't think it's worth me investing in another DPS character for what would amount to less than like a 1% gain. So 27's at 824 mil. Some of these Borgdoffs, man, they are just crazy. So I have a 27 and a 29 on this character. There's no 29 on KDF's side. That's because it's not worth a damn thing. Well, the thing for ground too is there was just a big nerf basically for one of the most popular ground setups, the Muds and Motivation, just a few weeks back. Uh, so what is out there for like meta ground builds were largely made irrelevant as or outdated as soon as that Stormfall patch hit. So anything posted before that, there's a good chance that that build's not as effective now as it was before. So I have a promo box ready to go for the new promo ship that we're getting next week. But the issue I'm having is I don't think I want to burn the box that I have on it. I think I'd rather just try and liquidate other assets and uh, just get like 1.5 bill ready to go before then. So I might sell that 27 that I have. Nothing in the bank here worth selling. I would say I would say, science is definitely above engineering, but my thoughts. Tactical, this game is the developers have catered this game heavily towards the tactical class. Um, Engineers, I have such a hard time recommending anybody play an engineer. I mean, for ground, it's fine. If you want to do really good on ground, engineers are perfectly fine. But when you get into space, I have met so many people who end up just quitting the game because they started as an engineer, they heavily invested in it, and then they wanted to get into the higher levels of play. And the fact is, engineers just suck at that level. Uh, you want to be a really high end tank, you need to be attack or psi. You want to do DPS in any fashion, you're gonna be a tack or psi. Uh, Engineers are just the design behind them. Cryptic has really let that class down. Like, it's not like you can't do a good number with them. Uh, with the content in this game, you can be more than effective enough with an engineer. It's just when you get down to you really want to min max everything you have, you really, really want to have, a better class. Matthew, how you doing? Ralston, I would very much agree with that. That top list right there. Tack is number 1, 2, and 3. I very much agree. Got me some boomer juice right here, as we call it. Some nice batch of coffee. I don't think I've done a damn thing with this character. Oh, I know. Rob knows my thoughts, and like I've just been around, at that I've been around too many people who terrible. Uh, but I've been around too many people who started off as an engineer and they invested heavily in it. And then when it got down to it, they couldn't keep up with the tactical players or the science ones, and they just gave up. Uh, there is nothing unique to an engineer that the other classes cannot do better. What do I recommend for the free ship deal we're working towards? Um, the Lobi's definitely, I think, a really good value. And eventually I'll get around to like, here's just my overall like top 5 recommendations for the event campaign. Here's the top 5 things that I would do. Um, but that's gonna be very high end min max focused. I think for a lot of people, the crossfield refit is very high up on that list, and it would be high up on the list for me also. Universal Designs is a very expensive trait to acquire traditionally. And Kathy, thank you again for another $2. Jose, how you doing? Bearded Guru, how you doing? Um, I think the crossfield refit, very, very popular choice, and I foresee a lot of people going for it. The trade-off of it to Universal Designs is extremely good. That's up to 10% crit chance and 50% crit severity. Like, that's a really powerful trait. You just have to have a bunch of Universal consoles to activate it. The other ship that I see people going for is the I could see a lot of people going for the D7 Miracle Worker. Ramspen, how you doing? Yeah, the D7 Miracle Worker is like it's one of the best options because it's just how expensive it is to traditionally get. Like, this ship, if you wanted to buy this right now, you're looking at, if you're going through legitimate sources, you're looking at like $200 to get it through the game. And through illegitimate sources, it's of course much cheaper. But none of us here would ever do anything like that. Like I've said multiple times on Trizander's stream, I would never do anything that violates the STO terms of service on my primary account. Yeah, 1.5 billion EC on a good day. Most of the time lately, these promo ships are like 1.8 bill. Yes, Roast, never. Never at all. The Kirk. Do. Yeah, here it is. Never, never, ever. Yeah, the Kirk class, I wasn't a fan of the stats of it. That's why it's named the Wasted Potential on my character here. Um, but I did get it to try it out for a torpedo build, just to try with like the Torp stuff plus RS3. At the same time, I also got the Temporal Light Cruiser because it can do the recursive plus Torp stuff a bit better than the Kirk could. The Kirk is a nice ship for the visuals, but that bridge officer seating on it just is brutal. What other ships do I have on this character? Courage, terrible. Atrias, how you doing? And then that Disco D7 also gets you the advanced disruptor beams. Though I guess if you have the legendary Disco Connie, that unlocks them also, doesn't it? Terrible. Yeah, I like some of the designs of the 32nd century ships. I just wish, uh, some of the stats, especially on like a promo ship, I wish they would, give promo ships especially a bit better stats. I don't even remember what all I have on this character. Yes. The forest donut needs to come out. Yeah. Oh, you should see my main character. Let me hop over to my main. Or my old main, I should say. I only have a few characters that I actually really use much nowadays. Like I have 50 plus characters, but most of them are just for dilithium turn-ins. And I barely do that nowadays. And I think the issue with the promo ships, the stats not always being great, is just the disconnect. Um, I I don't think anybody internally at Cryptic right now plays the game at anywhere near a high level. SOB's got a few more ships here. Just a few. There's a few fleet ships scattered in here at least. Yeah, these ships are all for storage. I have this Crossfield refit now. This is the ship with universal designs on like I think 2 or 3 characters, and I haven't even T6X'd it. Dark Ghost, how you doing? Yeah, Ralston. Most of these ships are for storage. As I go through and hit a bunch of ships that have nothing equipped to them. Yeah, the Trailblazer completely killed off the need to get the Janeway, I would say. Like I have one, but I never use it anymore. I know McStew really likes his, but I think he's swapped off of that. He got a tooth recently, the United Earth Defense Force vessel, so he's been flying that quite a bit. I don't know. I think for this event campaign, I haven't really decided. I'm not gonna get the Lobi because Lobi is generally not an issue for me. Uh, Michael, yes, the United Earth dental vessel. Um, yeah, the 12th anniversary bundle. To be honest, I think all of the anniversary bundles in the past 3 years have been perfectly fine. I know the 11th anniversary bundle did not get much love; it got a lot of hate. But I think even the 11th anniversary bundle in the end has ended up being a fairly solid bundle. Ralston, what's going on, man? Yeah, the other thing with Lobi is they keep adding things to the Lobi store. So that, that does weigh in that maybe, there might be some more Lobi trades coming out in the future that you want to grab. That's always something to factor in now. I really want to see a new Muds bundle. I don't have the money for one right now, but I would like to see something better than the current one put into the game because this current one's just I don't think this one's worth the money. I have not heard about any new Muds bundle, but I think we'll probably hear something. If there's a new one coming out in the next month, we'll probably have more information about it once this next patch happens. Legendary Valdor, absolutely, absolutely. I would love that. Just bought yourself a new PC. Very nice, Atreus. Lord Bane's going pretty good. Just being casual, and now I'm doing the market manipulation stuff that I like to do. I'm gonna look at what duty officers I have and see if I have anything worth putting up on the exchange. For the 11th anniversary pack, I really liked the. For me, it was the legendary Vorcha. I have gotten a ton of use out of that ship. Sticks Muds bundle would sell very well, but I think they might have something different planned for the sticks with them putting that new skin on it. Um, I think a theory I've seen people talk about was what if there's like a second 12th anniversary bundle that comes out later this year that has the sticks in it. Yeah, basically what Atreus is saying there. Yeah, getting the ground game on. Yeah. Oh, did something sell? Son of a gun. Just more things bouncing back off the exchange. This is not what I want. Yeah, I mean, 5-3 definitely is nice, but 4-4 is never the end of the world. Like, you can still do plenty fine with a 4-3. 23s are way too cheap right now for me to sell. Apparently, people have been going nuts for these like 42s and 41s. Oh boy. 42s at 458 million. That's what I want to see. Let's just go in and undercut those massively. Maybe post a couple. I wish we had like a search box in the DOF window. That would make like looking through DOFs so much easier. Matthew, I opened a lot of Borg Doff packs when they initially came out on a bunch of characters, and um, some of these characters I just forget about it, and then I'll check them, a year or two later and realize, oh, I've got all these things on them that are really valuable. The new Vesta bundle, yeah, I think for it depends on what you already have, but I think especially if you don't already have the Vestas, it's a decent deal. But I have all of the Vestas already, so it wasn't really. It was a downgrade of a ship compared to the Vestas that I already had, is the issue. So, you wanted the legendary DD to be a command flight deck carrier. Yeah, I would rather have had another command ship rather than Miracle Worker. I know most people prefer Miracle Worker, but I don't care about Miracle Worker at all. I I don't think the specialization offers enough. It does, especially it doesn't have enough utility. So I think 41s might be worth something also. I'm gonna check. Not as much. Let's do 75 mil. That's 40. Well, the thing with America Workers, most of the player base sees that extra console and they're like, they go nuts about it. Uh, that extra console is nice. Do not get me wrong, but it doesn't make up for the fact that America Worker just doesn't have many useful abilities. You've got the two damage boosting ones, uh, but I don't care about them that much. I know with some builds, the narrow sensor bands and mixed armament synergies are really good abilities, but I don't find them very engaging. I don't know. They're just a flat damage boost basically, and that's all they do. They're nice for that. They're very simple, uh, but compared to something like Command or Temporal, I find it very hard to care about. Do I have any other valuable DOS here? I don't think I do. At least for deflector officers. 20s are sometimes worth a little bit. Oh, I should mention too. Let me check here. So I'm gonna pop display capture back on. Over on the builds Discord, there's 4 hours left for PC players to go in and enter for this giveaway for an Undine Kawavi Biocruiser. Uh, this giveaway will end in 4 hours, so if you wanna, hop in and have a chance at winning this Undine Kawavi Biocruiser, which is one of the top tanking platforms that I'd mentioned in my last video. Uh, that giveaway ends in 4 hours. So there's a link to the builds Discord down below. That's the discord.gg/sto builds. Hop in there, go to the giveaways channel, and make sure to react to that giveaway to get entered in and have a chance at winning that ship. Slinus, how you doing? And there's another giveaway right below it for some Infinity personal ground traits. So if you want to enter that, also go for it. It looks like some people might be having issues entering this. I've had one person message me about it, but I have only one person. So if you have issues entering the second giveaway I've listed here, the Infinity personal ground traits, just let me know. And I'll have to redo the giveaway in the format that I normally would do it, but giveaway bot had a new way to do giveaways and I wanted to try it out. You just got an error? It worked for you. So what is it? I'll have to look into that more off stream, but basically when you do these giveaways now, you can just do an interactive prompt that'll pop up. The application did not respond. Okay, so it seems to be having some issues, and I'll have to redo it in the a proper format. Because like, if I let me try it up here. Yeah, so the way to do it now with the giveaway bot, the newer way is it'll just pop up this window and let you enter everything in one box here. Whereas before I had to type in like all of the specific commands one by one. So that was hopefully a simpler way to do it, but it looks like people are having issues with that. What's ground? Ground is where you post things on the exchange. What I'm doing right now, this is what ground content in STO really is like. People don't like it, but this is what it's like. If you click again, it reports you already entered. Okay. Yeah, the bot, yeah, it had like an interface there for me to go through and mess with. So I was hoping that would work, but apparently it's not working for everyone. There's a lot of people having issues with it. Some people are getting through, some people are not. I don't really know what's going on there. So I'm hoping I can't do this today, but I'm gonna redo the water cooling setup in my computer here. Let me get some pictures. You did a colony sim yesterday and it was somewhat fun. Terrible. Ground game strong. Terrible. So this is what my computer currently looks like. And the issue with it is it's a bit of a wiring mess and all that. And the reservoir, I don't like how it leans a little bit. As you can see, it's got the leaning tower of Pisa crap going on with it where it's leaning. So what I've done is I'm gonna just redo my loop setup basically. I'm gonna get rid of the front radiator. That LED strip did never want to stick, so I'm just gonna take that out. I got a new reservoir I'm gonna put in, and I'm gonna go to a dual D5 pump situation in there. So this week's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have a new radiator going at the back or like the side panel of the case here. Have this reservoir attached to it. I'm gonna have a new radiator going at the bottom here, like right where I'm like circling with the mouse. I'll have the pumps sit on it, and it'll hopefully look a little bit better. Because this is a bit of a cable mess right now. It works, but I've been having some overheating issues too. So the 3090 just outputs too much damn heat is ultimately the issue there. I'm running a 5900X and a 3090 FE. What I learned too is apparently there's a backplate from Bits Power, because I have a Bits Power water block on my card right now. They make a water-cooled backplate also, so I went through, I won a giveaway from Performance PCs here in the US. They're a water cooling store. over on their Facebook page. I won a giveaway there, and I used that, and then I tossed in some money on top of that to just go in, redo the loop, uh, things like that. As what are my temps at right now? The CPU hasn't peaked too bad here, but the ADC with the 5900X is going to happen. The temp on the coolant's not that bad today, but still hitting 40C on the coolant's not great. And the GPU stays fairly cool, but that memory on the back definitely needs a bit more cooling. Triz, how you doing, buddy? I saw you were having your lovely stream there, and uh, I just wanted to drop in and leave a nice comment about rabbits for you, but I decided to leave you alone today, just for you, buddy. I would say, to be honest, Atreus, you joke about that, but there are probably, with the way that I play the game, there are quite a few situations where I would rather have pilot on a ship than America worker. Especially if I'm doing a tank, I would rather have pilot to trigger cold hearted. Yeah, Atreus, I'll probably just redo the giveaway. I'll put out a thing saying, "Hey guys, I had to redo this. Just re-enter if you can." I think there's a command for me to cancel the giveaway, so I'll have to do that because it's messing up for too many people. So yeah, this when I play the game, I don't really, when I do content like TFOs, uh I just don't do them that much, to be honest. I do a lot of the market stuff, a lot of, the doffing, Admiralty. I know some people don't like that, but that is, a part of the game, and um, it is, it's a way that I enjoy playing the game. Triz, I was talking about you earlier too. I gave you a shout out and told people that they should go, especially the console players, they should go check you out because you're doing some really casual uh, console content, right? I don't know why I just have a bunch of covert beams in here. I don't know why I have things that I have anymore. What's this duty officer worth? Turtle, how you doing? I'm just going through and looking to see if I have things to sell. I want to get that Cheval on Tuesday, but I uh I have one promo box left in my bank and I don't want to use it. I want to save it just I like having at least one ship box on hand just in case I need something for a character or something like that. I just don't feel like popping that on the Cheval on Tuesday, so looking to sell some other assets. Um, so there will be a DPS channel type contest here in the near future, where we will give a sticks away as a grand prize. I'm still debating how to exactly have the entry method for it. Uh, but I would say stay tuned. Whenever I do decide to start up that giveaway, I'll be putting or that contest, I'll put an announcement video out and things like that. Uh, the grand prize will be a sticks. The secondary rewards, I haven't decided yet. I to be honest with you, when I got this promo box, I got I got screwed over, man. It took me over 200 promo packs to get that box right there. So for how much I spent trying to get that promo box, I could have just used the EC to directly buy 2 to 3 promo ships easily. Uh, even for me, I gamble a lot, but I just there are times where you're going to get screwed over no matter what. The stranger, the current event reward, I haven't. I just am not that big into ground content. To be honest with you, it's not that I completely hate ground. It's just that if I'm gonna play ground stuff, I'd rather play ground in a game where the developers have developed the game and uh, invested time into the ground aspect. And I just do not feel that STO has had enough ground investment to make it feel fun to play. I have not had that many crashes, but I know Cables, he's part of the team I run with. He has been having a lot of issues. He's not on an 11th gen, but he's on like a 12900K, I think. So he's on one of the newer 12th gens, but those newer Intel processors have been having so many issues with a variety of games. X Cage, I wish. But for now, Cryptic Solution is the mud store. Gables, how's it going, buddy? Jose, I'd say if you're talking about like joining a fleet, um, I wouldn't be too worried, to be honest. Fleets at this point are not really a social thing in this game. Most fleets are basically just shopping malls now, is how I feel. Thank you, X Cage. Yeah, Turtle, you've had some insane luck when opening boxes recently. It's crazy. If people ever want to know the best way to make EC, the reality, the real answer is how to make EC is to do dolphing. It's just that most people do not have the patience for it. But like figuring out what are the best offs for each build type, where do those duty officers come from? Uh, that's a good way to make a lot of EC. People just don't want to do it. And if I go out and like, if I did a video like, oh, here, open this DOF pack and you'll get a ton of EC, people that don't understand it are just going to go in and flood that market and, just kill it off. Like, Jose, to add to that, like my fleet, the Breakfast Club, we basically have no like chat. It's the chat has been dead for a very long time, but the fleet still progresses and people can still buy things. It's just basically a shopping mall for people and a way for them to access the certain things from the game that they can only get from being in a fleet. I don't think I have anything else on this character worth selling. Yeah, there's not really much you can do. You can buy DOFs there, yeah. You can use your fleet credits to buy duty officers. Um, that's always good to do. Yeah, I remember selling some bridge officers, and right now, if you want to get EC from bridge officers, it's those the Riemann ones that have infiltrator. Those are the big sellers right now because those are like 3 to 400 million EC per. It's just you have to roll a Romulan character and hope that you get one while leveling up. Uh, and if you don't, you just delete the character and start over. X Cage, it shouldn't make a difference at all. They should basically have the same chance. Yeah, Stranger. Sorry, I missed that when you initially said it. Um, the visuals of the new ground stuff, I'm not a fan of either. I know a lot of people have been complaining about it. Yeah, the fleets are not a social place. If you're expecting chat like inside the game in a fleet or armada chat, you're playing the wrong game. To be entirely honest with you at this point, um, McStew's fleet, it's a brand new fleet. It's got lots of people in it. The Discord has a lot of activity, but in game it's dead. If you want to have social activity with this game, you have to be ready to go outside of the game. That's generally what I tell people. You want social activity? Get on Discord. If you're not willing to get on Discord, then don't expect social activity. Steven, how you doing? Yeah, you used to have to work to get into a good fleet, and now it's just doesn't matter. Martin, how you doing? Just going through and selling doffs here. I've got a few that might be worth something. Let me check my bank. More of these covert phasers. Man, I opened so many of them packs. Uh, his fleet Discord. So, me display capture. I have too many STO related Discords. So, Starfleet Command Operations. I think there's some, isn't there? I guess there isn't. Yeah, I guess it's his main Discord that's got all of his activity. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Martin. It's his main server that's got like all of the activity, isn't it? Um, what DOFs do I use for space and ground? I am okay. I got to get caught up on chat here. That's going to depend on the build. But usually the energy weapon or projectile weapon crit officers. That was a bit creepy with her right over my shoulder there. Um, the energy weapon or projectile crit officers, the crit chance severity versions. Uh, for torpedo boats, I'll use like a mine cooldown doff also. You've got 27 to 47 that I usually run, 23 or 24 47, the emergency con hologram. I'm running all of the really expensive DOFs right now, basically. For ground, I just slot whatever, to be honest. Um, Foxhound, that's so to answer your question here, I'm a little bit behind on chat, so let me just get this over here and let's just focus on it for a minute. Why did chat just mess up there? No. There we go. Yeah, Discord is much easier for communication. Yeah, just fleets don't communicate. They don't. Between the Inquiry Battlecruiser and the Vodware America Worker Juggernaut, both ships are perfectly capable. It's up to you, really. Both ships work perfectly fine. Which one do you like the visual of more? Is what I would say. The Vodwar does have a trait that can be useful. The Juggernaut, not as much. Give me just 1 second here. Okay. get back up on chat. With OSS, so but Foxhound really, the Vaudoir Merc Worker has a trait that's going to be a little bit better, and it is the higher performing ship in theory. Uh, but the Inquiry is a very fun ship to fly. It moves a lot better, but both ships are very close to each other performance wise. Just go with whatever you like the visual of more. Um, Mark, which we don't have. Would a legendary? No, that one. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really know. That's a good question though. For what Fed ship that we don't already have would I like to see with a full commander intel seat? I don't know. I really don't know on that one. Yeah, the game before Delta Rising especially was a lot more active and was the fleets were very active back then. Sam, you can always try like the Reddit Discord, just the places that have a lot of people in them. There's going to be some console players mixed in there, and that's generally where you're going to see the most social activity in the game. Can't give away invites to your fleet, Ralston? Yeah. Oh, you meant SS3? Gotcha, Mark. Gotcha. All safe. How you doing, Brian? Thanks for the sub. Yeah. The thing with the game really is, this game is basically a single player game. And I've talked to McStew and Triz about this. We've had some pretty in-depth private conversations when we're just chilling on Discord. And I think a reason PvP, for example, is not as popular in this game, because the PvP experience, if you sit down, take time to understand it, it can be fun if there's certain rule sets set so people aren't using some of the really busted stuff. But the overall issue is the reason people in this game don't like PvP is because most of the people playing this game are not, people that are very experienced, with games. There's a lot of people that come to this game because it's Star Trek and they want something to mess around with. They're not normally people that play games. So, uh going being dumped into something like PvP in a game like this where it's very uh it's a very hard experience, people just don't like it. um Man, I'd really like to try the Vesta. Yeah, Steven, I completely agree. Martin, there's a lot of STO discords, man. There's like I am in STO Discord wise. Um, so everything, let me just minimize these. Everything in this tab is STO related. Everything in this tab is STO related. Everything in this tab is also STO related in some way or another. There's a lot of STO Discords. Many of them. Stranger, the Plasma Disruptor hybrid weapons. They're cool, but you can basically, if the weapon has a 2.5% proc rate, you can basically just ignore the proc. Because your weapon proc, if you run 8 weapons that have a 2.5% chance to proc, you will see one proc go off every like 20-25 seconds. So you can basically ignore weapon procs in this game. They don't matter for the most part. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part, they just don't matter. Yeah, people play this game single player even in pugs. Exactly. Yes, Turtle, you are the ideal STO player right now. Yeah, I was thinking of Legendary Prometheus when you said that, Mark. Um, the issue is the existing Prometheus is command, but I think an Intel version of that would be pretty good. But I do feel I have to be honest that if they do a Legendary Prometheus, it's probably going to be pilot. Yeah. The chance doesn't multiply under beam overload. It's just that each shot out is a firing cycle basically under beam overload. Uh, Whereas if you're using like fire at will, scatter volley, the you the entire firing cycle is like several shots. As much as I like the Intel and Command bundle, like combo on ships, they have done that on a lot of ships recently and should probably diversify. Yeah, Steven, like I would agree. I think one of the biggest things that limits the game is I just don't think a lot of people there uh play the game. Like I don't know Borticus. You know, I could be wrong, but I the impression that I get is that he with some of the decisions is maybe that he's not played the game as much, especially at like a higher level uh in a very long time. Like I believe when he like before he uh started there when he was doing stoked or whatever, he was probably a bit more engaged, you know, playing the game, but I feel like that's dwindled over the years, which is to be expected. Yeah, surgical strikes is definitely the way to go for intel ships. Um, the performance from surgical strikes over beam overload, it's like 30-40% better. I don't remember the exact number. Yeah, the space combat in this game is amazing. The PvP aspect of it can be really fun. Um, it's just that most people that play this game are uh this is their maybe their first experience with playing a game. You know, the devs have talked about this on their stream that a lot of people that play this game are not, you know, traditionally gamers. They're people that are here because it's Star Trek. Yeah. But there's things that have been released where people are like, why is this being put in? Or why are they doing this? I think we've seen that a lot with the shield stuff in the last year. I do want to mess around with the shield tank at some point too, just to get a feel for where they're at. But yeah, it seems like there's some things that they do that are just heavily disconnected from reality. My background is really glitching out there, isn't it? Ramsman, are you doing a shield tank? Is that why you're saying that? Yeah, that's true, Martin. This game has that's one of the nice things about it is the diversity with the builds, what you can do with the builds. You know, there's so many different combos, and that's like I know one of the things people have said with PvP is just give people a build and say, okay, here's the build you're going to be dumped into when you go into this PvP match. They can do that, but that removes a large element of the fun of this game in that, you know, you can really diversify the builds and make your build very unique. Oh, I got your Ramsman. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that play the game like that, and Cryptic themselves have said on multiple streams now that there's a lot of people that play this game that don't play other games, you know, so they're not used to some of those higher level like things that you'd see in other games, the ones that are the elements that are more difficult, like PvP. So when they go into PvP, they get their asses handed to them and they don't like it. You know, it's the simple reality of that. Um, yeah, I'm gonna try to get some tanking stuff done. Um, I can't promise a specific time frame, you know. Sometimes I get burnt out on the game, and having a commitment of, oh, I'm really burnt out on the game right now, and I have this big video project that I need to get done by this date. You know, that can just make that situation worse. So I don't like to give specific time commitments to when I'll have a video out. Will they ever replace the lockbox mechanism? Potentially. That's what I talked about in that video about the at the end of the lockbox drop rates, about the new system that they were putting over in Neverwinter. And honestly, I'd like that system to come over to STO in some form. The new Vulcan ship trait, I think, is completely worthless. The 4 second duration uh, ruins it. And in PvP, if you wanted to use it, you'd have to decloak before you hit your science team. Uh, so you have an additional delay after you decloak before you can get the benefit from it. It's just not. The Vulcan ship trait is not good. Atrias, I agree. The performance floor of the game is very low. Most players in this game do less than 10,000 DPS. Like, there was just a post on Reddit yesterday. Someone was looking for build help. They had parsed at like 7,000 DPS or something like that. Um, and they were wanting to get help to improve, but like there are a lot of players like that that don't know that that's where they're performing, and that is below what a hanger pet does DPS wise. I mean, keep in mind you slot like Todouge even without SAD, and each bay of Todouge can do like 12 to 15k DPS now. Uh, so there's a lot of players that are just performing very low, even below what your pets do. But if the difficulty was higher, if the rewards were more justifiable for Elite, I think people would be more invested. I think Elite's rewards right now are a big killer. The fact that there's basically no rewards to justify investing for playing Elite content. Yeah, Martin, that was a very fun time. I'm sad that that was right before that I started playing. So I missed some of that fun experience with PvP. I got your Ramsman. I'm not trying to like be negative about that. I'm just saying that that's a statement that Cryptic has directly stated on their stream, that a lot of people playing this game do not play other games for the most part. You know, a lot of people that play this game are just here because it's Star Trek. They're not here because they want an MMO. There's a lot of people just here because of how they've expanded the storyline past some of the shows, and how you could just come in here and fly your favorite ship if you put money in for it. I'm really behind on chat. I'll say if the system in Neverwinter just guarantees you a ship after a certain number of boxes, STO system does not right now. Foxhound, if you are doing a surgical strikes build, you need to have the Vanguard specialist, I'd say. It's really impactful for the Vanguard, or for the surgical strikes builds. Yeah, red, exactly. The legendary bug ship is very much worth it at 50% off. Yeah. Ice Knight, how you doing, man? Yeah, the Neverwinter, the only downside of it that people were leaving in the comments that I didn't get a chance to address this, and I didn't know about it until I did the video. I was informed afterwards that one of the changes alongside that was that over in Neverwinter, they made it so you don't get Lobby from each lockbox over there, or their version of Lobby. Instead, Lobby is just now a chance drop from lockboxes over in Neverwinter. So I don't know if I'd want every element of the Neverwinter system transferred over to STO, but that is the one downside to that system. I remember Memory Alpha. They'll never replace that. There's a lot of older systems that they're just never going to get around to replacing, unfortunately. Diablo Immortal. I've all I've heard about that is that it's very much it can get very expensive. Let's just put it that way. Sam, you love Star Trek and many ships. Yeah, I think the World Razor would be really interesting. I don't know what setup they would give it, being we've already had, a couple different Galaxy variants now. Yeah, some of those earlier designs were uh, interesting, and some of them were quickly tossed together, which is, the game was rushed, very early on, so it makes sense that some of the maps were not the best looking, but they've done a good job polishing up the game over the past 12 years. Yeah, I have some blueprints in a bank somewhere. Hey, Triaz. Oh, no. Yeah. I would like to go back and experience the game in those early days again, you know? Experience that state of the server. Yeah. I mean, STO, it's impressive that they've been able to, like, recover things so well since then, you know? I think what we have now is a very polished game. Is it as polished as it could be? No, but, what project ever is fully perfect? I remember when these Eagle clans, like, when I was going nuts trying to get these to do the back before a crafting revamp, you would when you wanted the like Mark 12 consoles, there was a duty officer mission on your ship to convert alien artifacts over into Mark 12 consoles, and it was a chance to get very rare ones. This was before the fleet tac consoles and all that were a thing. Also, these Eagle clans were like the best you could get. Yeah, STO has a lot to do. It's just that a lot of it is solo. Like this is very much an MMO, but at the same time, it's a game that to most people nowadays, I say, just treat this as a single player game. Yes, there's stuff to do with other people. Yes, there's guilds and all that. Uh, but really, you just treat this as a single player game pretty much nowadays. Yeah, my playtime in STO, that's a very, very scary number. Most of it is AFK, just me sitting at the exchange, to be fair. Um, but let me just hop onto one character here and do the slash played command. So if you ever want to know your playtime on a single character, type in slash played. Yeah. So a lot of this, to clarify, is me just being AFK, standing near the exchange, but um, slash played if you want to see your playtime. This is just one character. And this character's been around for like the last decade. So this character has over a year of being logged in. And to be fair, most of it is, if any of you have me on a friends list, any of you see me, you know exactly where I am. I'm like this. This right here. I'm like this. I've got this open. I'm just looking at stuff. And the reality is I'm over here I got the browser open. I've got another game open. I'm just playing another game. Well, I've got STO open. That is the character. So my original main is SAB, my initials. So terrible. So if I do the same thing on this character, yeah, so you go to logs, captain's logs, and you just scroll down. So this is not my first account, but like I started this character June 30th, 2012. So this character is almost a decade old. 158 days of playtime. Let's just start adding this up. Let's just see how sad of a number this is. So this is basically 159 days. Let's now add up what was SOB at? But yeah, any of you that have played this game long enough know that most of that playtime is AFK. Like you put your character near somewhere on a map, like the exchange, and then you tab out. I watch YouTube videos, things like that. Um, like that character has basically just to put that into perspective, that just between those two characters is 625 days of playtime. Jesus Christ. Let's try my Fed tack. I used to use this character as a main. The next promo ship, well, it's Tuesday. It's that Vulcan ship. But after that, I really don't know. I'm hoping for the Stargazer, to be perfectly honest with you, man. Uh, Stargazer's what I'm hoping for. Could you let me know your personal opinion on why the developers have come out with this year-long event? Um, the reason for the year-long event campaign is because it encourages people to keep playing the game throughout the year. Um, yeah, I mean they're giving away a promo ship or a lockbox ship or whatever, but ultimately it's keeping you in the game for a very long time. And for them, it's a worthy trade, you know? It means that you're playing the game and yeah, you might get a ship worth like 100 to 200 bucks for a single character at the end of it, but you're playing throughout the year, and how much more are you going to put into the game being you're playing it on a regular basis, you know? Uh, for them it's their equivalent of like a daily login system. It's not, you know, every last day, you know, throughout the year, but it is a lot of engagement from you throughout the year. It's making sure you're still playing the game. You're maybe buying other ships along the way, you know, because if you only play a couple weeks a year, you're going to be less willing to buy a new ship. Whereas if you're playing all the time, you're going to be much more engaged with things. You're going to be buying more ships throughout the year. You're going to be buying new gear. You might work on a new character, and that's a lot of money they get when you make a new character and start buying things for it. Like, to them, it's just a worthy trade off for the higher player engagement and the potential that that will translate into you putting more money into the game. That was the Lucari shield on the sticks. I'm a little bit behind here. Yeah, Iceland, I'm really hoping for the Stargazer, but it's basically one promo ship every 3 to 4 months, so I wouldn't expect the next promo ship until around October now. After this, October, November, we'll get the next promo. I think. Let me just get caught up on chat here. Hey Ryan, Command Akira would be amazing. The summer event should be starting on June 28th. Should be starting as soon as the next event ends. I believe. I could be wrong, but I am pretty sure the summer event starts on June 28th. So 23 days. X Cage, in case you didn't hear, that was the Lucari shield, Lucari reputation shield on the sticks. Ed, um, yeah, the Vulcan ship trait, the 80% factor is not good for it. It does very much limit it. I think given the current numbers on that trait, the requirement of what it takes to hit it, the trait's not going to be worth it. Like that, I'm doing a lot of DPS stuff right now, and the fact is, I'm saying that for me, a trait that gives 100% crit chance and 200% severity isn't going to be worth it because the uptime's too low. It's if that was changed to be like it was up for 10 seconds every 45 seconds, that'd be better. But the 4 seconds, that means if you're like on a cloaking ship, you have to decloak, hit a science team once your shields are up, then you'll get the buff from it, and then it's up for 4 seconds. So you get like one shot out, and then the buff's gone. No, they've already said the summer ship. The summer ship is the the holographic ship from the first episode of TNG. It's like a UFO. Yeah, they've already talked about it. It's a UFO, and then it looks like a jellyfish or something. Let me take a look. Let me see if I can find this on RSTO. I thought there were pictures of this. Just give me a second. I can't find a picture of it right now, but it is the ship from the very first episode of TNG. Um, it's a UFO that has a hologram around it. It looks like the things outside of Starbase K13, your fleet starbase. It's basically one of those, and you get to fly it around. We don't know any stats about the ships. I have no leaks about it. If I had leaks, I couldn't say. But I've legitimately seen no stats of the new ship. Yeah, but they have officially confirmed at the Mission Chicago convention that is the summer event ship. Yeah. Exactly, HRS. The uptime on the Vulcan ship trade is not good. Yeah. Darthon, how you doing? Yeah, the thing from Mission Farpoint, exactly. So let me just go through here. I'm not going to go through all my characters to get playtime, but let me go through at least these market characters where I know I've just sat AFK on them for a while. Let's just do casual here. Yeah, there's a lockout on the Vulcan trade of 20 seconds. So it's up for 4 seconds, and then it has a 20-second lockout. So it's got 20% uptime at max. It's not worth it. So 50 days, basically. So just between a couple of my characters, I'm at 881 days of playtime. Multiply that by 24 hours. To clarify, as I said, a lot of this is spent just being AFK near an exchange. I would have to say at least 75 to 80% of my playtime is me being AFK right next to an exchange console. If any of you have ever had me on your friends list and been on the map that I'm on, that is where you see me. That or I'm hidden, sitting on the Starship Bridge right next to the exchange console. This is the main way I play the game right here, just looking for deals. Yeah, the jellyfish, Sam. Steven, I've got 56 characters, I think. Yeah, well, keep in mind any of the event ships are intentionally bad. They're not intentionally bad. It's just that they're intentionally weaker than any C store options we have. Event ships are meant to be okay, but they're not meant to be so good that people wouldn't want to go out and buy uh, a C store version or a premium version of those ships. The ships are always meant to be weaker options, if that makes sense. Yeah, sometimes they come with a really great console or trait. That's very true. Um, the ships themselves will be underwhelming, but there will be a console or trait that makes people want to go after them. And that's why people, will want to go and spend money on them later on. For example, the Rising Weather Control Vessel. The ship itself isn't the best thing ever, but it has one of the best science consoles in the game on it, so people want to get it when they're working on like an EPG build. Yeah. Is it good to use Domino and DPRM together on every build? Yeah, you can. Most of my current builds don't use either, but I'm doing a different type of build style than most people. So, for most people, Domino, DPRM, very much use them together. The new Vulcan ship, the ship itself is good. It's a really capable ship. It's just a different playstyle. Like the Vulcan ship can get a very high number. The trait may not be that great, but the console has potential for some builds. The console on it's really interesting, being it's a teleport, but the ship itself is actually really solid, and that's why I'm going to grab one. I might even, I think I might stream on Tuesday, just messing around with the ship. What is I mean, it's an okay ship, but you're missing out on temporal seating on it. But I mean, for most content, you can get away doing most of the content in this game with a variety of ships. Like there's actually no content in this game right now that even requires a tier 6 ship. Everything is still doable with tier 5s. Breen Dreadnought full command? I wish, dude. I wish. But yeah, the Vulcan ship, yeah, I do disagree with that, Chaos. It's not trash, it's just um it's a different play style than you have. Are the Breen ships any good? There's a few of them that are okay. Yeah, I mean they're not the top performers, but I do enjoy flying some of them. Um, which one is it here? The which one? I like the Chell Bog warship. It's a 4-4. I've used it as a torque platform and done a fairly good number with it. Um, but it's a fairly solid ship. Some of those green ships are perfectly fine. Um, yeah, the Chelgret. I mean, the Chelgret's still good. It's just, what do you want to do? If you're wanting to min max with it, of course, it's going to be limited. Dwayne, I would imagine so. I don't remember the stats of the Vulcan Scout ship, but the new Vulcan ship is, I would say, the best Vulcan ship in the game. Um, I would have to disagree about the Rising Weather Control vessel being better than the Vern. The Vern is, when it comes to like pure science builds, it's just on its own level. I think after the Vern, the second best pure EPG performing ship is the Lucari Junior Scout ship generally. Um, but I would have to disagree about the weather control vessel beating the Vern. Yeah, the Goktad's a really interesting ship. Borg Cube, or at least a Sphere, is a playable ship. Yes. Martin, yeah, they know when anybody wants to set up one of these DPS builds, and this is one of the reasons they're not going to ever do anything about DPS. Um, they know it makes them money. The cost to set up like a meta torpedo build is like $1,000. You want to set up a meta energy weapon build or whatever, if you want to get all the really premium pieces for it, it's really expensive. No legendary intrepid in there. No, the legendary intrepid has miracle worker, which the science ships that are generally the best performers, and if you look at like HSC, uh, they're all temporal based. And the legendary intrepid is miracle worker. Miracle worker just does not have much, especially for science. It's, don't get me wrong, like the intrepid, the rising weather control vessel, you can use those ships and do perfectly fine. But if you're looking at it from a min max point of view of what is the most effective, the Vern is going to just obliterate everything else with science. Um, what's a good reputation ship equipment set for attack officer? The Terran rep weapons definitely. The Disco after that. So the Terran weapon and then the Disco weapon and console set are generally very good. Do I think they'll ever give us another Borg ship? I don't know. I would hope so, but maybe if they revisit some Borg content in a couple years, maybe they'll do that. Hey Triaz, you hurt my immersion with that statement. Stu, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, miracle worker definitely pays a lot. And I think that's something a lot of people in the player base very much prefer miracle worker. Uh, but I don't think most realize what you're giving up, compared to like command or intel, to get that extra console slot. I would very much agree with that. And yeah, Martin, you can invest a ton of money into those builds, but that is one of the big issues is there's no reward from elite content really. You don't get anything from playing elite. Um, what do I think about the covert mine layer suite? I think I tried it and took it off, to be honest. I can't tell you too much about it right this second, but I don't think I kept it on. Yeah, the with the temporal, it's especially you get a lot of unconventional systems triggers, so you can really reduce the cooldown of a lot of your consoles much more than you could on the Miracle Worker ship. Atrias, I think they said that that's too big. They could scale it down. They've done that before, but I think they've said it was too big for Stowe. Yeah, Darthon, that was the meta for a while. The Sphere Builder. I've got one over on SOB. That was one of the ships I was using for nuking CCA when you could just go in and take out the entire map in 10 seconds before they put in the lockout every third of the way on the entity. Yeah, you can do advanced with a build from a decade ago, pretty much. That's why I've had people like suggest to me, what do I think about a DPS cap, for example? And a DPS cap would just mean you don't have to invest in your build. Because if you put a DPS cap of 100k, for example, there were people doing 100k DPS before Starship traits, before Mark 13 weapons, before you could re-roll your weapon mods. Like, if they put a DPS cap of 100k, you wouldn't have to pay to improve your build at all because it'd be stupidly easy to get your build up to the cap. Me, where am I at here? Yeah, advanced. Yeah, advanced just has the most bang for the buck, basically, time wise for rewards. Um, wish the vest added secondary specialization set as temporal. Yeah, I would have bought it if it had done that. Been seeing a lot of J's lately. Yeah, I think a lot of people like that Enterprise J. I know Triz likes it. Uh, Triz just absolutely loves the Enterprise J. Yeah, just nuking that entity in CCA was super fun back in the day. I don't think we're going to get another faction next Gage. I think we're past that point in the game. I think we're at a point now where they're not going to put the game in maintenance mode, but they can get by, obviously, and they have been getting by just drip feeding the story missions and just dumping a ton of premium ships into the game. They've been quite successful with it in the past year or so. But I don't think we're going to see any big systems changes coming in the near future. Terrible HS. Absolutely terrible. Yeah. Triz, as soon as he sees the Enterprise J, he's very pleased. Um yeah. I think if there's any change that they could do that would be fairly simple for them and would be something that would get them money, increase the level cap up to level 70, increase the max weapon mark up to 16. That makes content more difficult, and it means we have another tier to upgrade our weapons. I could see them doing that because that would be a little bit of a dill sync temporarily, um, and it'd give them room to counter some of the power creep we've had. I think this year it's going to be Disco D7s and the Crossfield refit. I think those are the two that are going to dominate. Yes, exactly, S-Net. Yeah, I would say I still have fun playing the game, but I had more fun playing this game 6, 7 years ago than I do now. And that's largely because there was more activity back then. Like the DPS channels were a lot more active. Um, People played a lot of leak content. You know, it was just a different state of the game. It was just a different time. Um, the issue there, Wizard, is both would benefit from the Spearhead refit. To be honest, um, I would, for me personally, I'd probably go the Spearhead refit. The DPRM, I think, is a good console. Do not get me wrong. I think the DPRM is still an amazing console, and I think most people should run it. I think most people will benefit from it. I just, I don't even run it all the time anymore myself now. I think it's a good console. I just don't think it's as much of a must have for a lot of builds. It's a very potent console. It's one of the best in the game. I just think it gets a little bit overhyped sometimes, if that makes sense. Just depends on the type of content you're doing. The survivability aspect is really good. The damage aspect of it's really good. Uh, do you need that? Are you in content where you need that boost of survivability and that damage boost? At the same time? Yeah. Oh, I missed a message that was held for review. Um, yeah. Well, here's the thing. The reason I'm saying that is because they already did level 16 or Mark 16. When they did the increase to Mark 15 weapons, at the same time, they put in the work. It's already in the back end in the code for Mark 16. All they have to do is turn it on. It's done. They have it. It's done. They just have to turn it on. Is the impression that I have. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but that is the impression that I have right now. Uh no, I don't think we're going to ever see T7. Tier 6, when Tier 6 happened, a couple years with T5, T5s had been the top ships in the C store for a long time. They came out with Tier 6. All the T5 ships, were now subpar. Like, we lost half, every fleet that I know lost over half of their active players. Like, Delta Rising was very bad for the player base. Like, long term, it's been good for the game, but at the time, and in the immediate time after Delta Rising, it killed social activity in this game. We lost so many players. They will never do T7. I think legendary ships are their version of Tier 7. Quentin, I appreciate you. Yeah, the Miracle Worker Connie is going to be very high up in that list for sure, Red. Atrias, yeah, use it more defensively. Yeah, that's true, Warp Core. I just think that that's a very easy step of progression for them to increase the level cap up to level 70. That's going to increase the level of enemies we go against in like elite content up to level 70, so they'll have more HP and they'll do more damage to us. Give us Mark 16, we have to upgrade all of our gear again. Guess what? They just nerfed Phoenix tokens. They nerfed the Phoenix upgrades. How evil of it is it for them to have nerfed the Phoenix upgrades, and then later on, introduce a new tier for us to upgrade all of our gear to? Suddenly, that upgrade becomes more expensive. You get what I'm thinking right there? The reason the Phoenix got nerfed is because I think they're going to do the Mark 16 gear at some point, and it's now going to be more expensive for us to upgrade our gear to Mark 16. That's just my thought. I could be completely off, but that's just the theory that I have had for a while now. And I can 100% promise you that there's stuff in the code for Mark 16 gear. I have I have been shown, like, even the little mark icon for Mark 16. It is in the code. Um, Tier 5 mirror patrol escort that turned into a Torp mine layer. Very nice. Yeah, the other issue with Delta Rising was the content difficulty jump. Cryptic reacted to the amount of power creep that they were seeing. They were seeing how fast people were completing content, and they screwed up because they didn't realize that that did not represent the entire player base. So they made content really hard, made it really easy to fail, and they had to backtrack because they didn't realize that that's not where most of the player base was. That was the case of, you look on Reddit and people talk about, oh, Cryptic listens or just caters to the high DPS players. They did that with Delta Rising in a way, it feels like, and that backtracked, and they haven't really listened to DPSers since, you know? Uh, because they know that that's just a minority of the game now, and it's not the majority of the player base. Most of the players in this game still do under 10k DPS, like I was talking about before. So they have to make sure that normal and advanced content is extremely easy for those players to be able to participate in and complete. Which specialization do I think will be redone next? Pilot. I think it's going to be pilot. I think Miracle Worker sells very well for them, and I think that they think that the player base thinks that Miracle Worker is the best thing ever. Um, I wish Wizards. That would be really nice if we could have loadouts for our skill trees, but I don't think that's going to happen. My opinion of the mirror ground set we just got, I have not used it at all, pleb. I haven't done any ground content in a while, man. I really haven't. Yeah, that's very possible, and I imagine if you used an ultimate upgrade on a piece of Mark 15 gear, it would automatically convert to Mark 16, if they do that. But yeah, I have heard that the ground set is really good, pleb. I just haven't... I have not used it. I haven't done any ground content. I've been quite frustrated with the game a lot in the last month. The last night was the first night that I had the server performance fine when I was doing runs with my team. So last night was the first night in a month that I was able to actually play the game and not have to deal with like rubber banding. Tips to prepare for Mark 16 gear. Just have Phoenix upgrades ready to go. Make sure your stuff's epic, Make sure the important gear you have is already epic, so when you do, or if they do, give us Mark 16, it's already at epic quality, because it'll probably be even more expensive to try and get it to epic at Mark 16. Yeah, I hope Pilot gets a revamp. Cthulhu, I do plan on doing a Torp build video, yes. I want to do a heavy tank video and then maybe a support tank. The issue with the support tanks and giving those, making a video about those, is that very few people play at that level. When we talk about the really high-end min-max DPS scene, there's really very few people. I mean, we are talking 15, 20 people in the game that play at that level, so making content pieces for that part of the player base, it's a lot of time investment for me, and it's not as impactful or useful to the wider player base as, like a general tanking guide or a DPS guide. When do I think we'll get the next Muds bundle? Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Lambda could use a revamp. I know if Brett were here, he'd have a lot to talk about. with regards to that. So yeah, I'll have to try it out next time I play Ground. I just have not been doing Ground at all in a while. So far, they have done Command and now Intel. What do I think the next Muds bundle will be? I'm hoping it's something mirror themed, to be entirely honest. I want a Styx in a Muds bundle. I want the mirror warship. You know, I want an entirely like mirror themed bundle. I don't know if I'll get it necessarily. I have a lot of ships that I would want already unlocked on the characters I want them on. I don't know. I don't know what exactly it'll be, but my dream Muds bundle would be the Disco, Connie, and D7 flight deck carrier as the promo ship option. The mirror warship in there, the mirror or the Styx, and then for the Lobby ship, I don't care what they toss in. Just any random Lobby ship. I don't care. Mirror Arbiter? Yeah, I expect to see one at some point. What is the best spearhead to get if you were only wanting to get one of them? That depends on the playstyle. Like, are you looking for pure science? You know, I think this new Vulcan one's going to be pretty solid, but I also think that the issue is a lot of the existing spearhead versions have been really good. The many of the crossfield ships have been really good. I know the mirror crossfield was really solid. I think the Vulcan's going to be good. It's really hard to say, and I'm not the best person to ask for science-related things. I would really recommend if you want to get further into the science stuff and you want to get more more detailed information from people that actually play science things, go to the builds Discord, go to the EPG section, go to EPG discussion, and ask them, you know, what's the best science spearhead, and specify the specific type of build you're looking to do. Are you looking to just do pure science? Are you looking to do like a side tort boat? You know, just be specific with how you ask it in there. And link to that Discord is in the description down below. It's the discord.gg/STO builds. Link down there. Yeah, 32nd Century bundle would be interesting. But I think they would wait a little bit. I think generally the Muds bundles have a little bit of a delay. You know, they're not putting newer ships in right away. And I feel like a lot of those 32nd Century ships, they're from what, like the last year or so? That's a bit too soon for them. Oh, that's true. Trailblazer? Yeah. Does it actually have the spearhead classification? I don't remember. Megla, what'd you send me in the mail? Thank you, Megla. I appreciate all of the wonderful gear that you send to me. So tomorrow I'm looking at doing a video on just going over suppression barrage in more detail. I remembered seeing a conversation about this and forgot to mention it in the video, and then I talked to Jay after my tanking video came out. Suppression barrage, when it says 50%, is not actually 50%. It's like that 50% ends up actually being 33%, I think it was. Yeah. So the actual math for suppression barrage, it's not really 50%, but it's still fairly significant. So I'm gonna have that updated information out in the video tomorrow. Then I want to go and I'm gonna set up a heavy tank at some point later today, take it into the middle of HSC, get numbers for it with suppression barrage on and off, and just show how much less damage I took in with suppression barrage on. So that'll be tomorrow's video. And for the next like top or best of video, the top request so far is for like an energy weapon video, and I've had, I think, more requests for cannon scatter volley so far than beam overload. So uh, the video out next Friday is probably going to be like here's the best cannon scatter volley ships in the game. Darthon, that's something I want to test. That's something I'm definitely going to test because I have one of those and I really like that ship. Am I on casual right now? Yes, I am. Where'd my health bar go? I really like the Voth Rampart. I think it's a very solid ship. I think for those that wanted to tank and also have a carrier, I think it's a very solid option. But I've been going for about 2 hours. When is Stu starting up his stream? Is the McStew still here? Or is he not scheduled it yet? Yeah. Looks like Stu doesn't have his stream scheduled yet. To escape. Oh yeah, there you go. Thank you for that. Hour and a half, okay. So I'm gonna start to wrap things up. If anyone has any final questions, feel free to drop them in. I'm gonna go get me some lunch here, being it is just about 2 p.m. Like I said, video out Tuesday. Not Tuesday. Video out Monday for how effective suppression barrage is, how much of an impact it actually has on tanking. I'm gonna go through here in a few hours, get that testing done. Friday will be a video on the best cannon scatter volley platforms in the game. I've had Triz reach out to me. He asked if I could include a T5 recommendation also in the in some of my best of videos, so I am going to try to do that. That 3 mil run in the builds Discord was not a completed run. It was not a valid upload, and it's not on the tables. But that was a torpedo build. Any record over 2 million right now is basically going to be a torpedo build. So Game Freaks had a 298 run happen, but that they had trimmed the spheres out, so it was not a valid upload, so it was removed. He asked me to remove it. It was unintentionally uploaded by one of his teammates. His actual record that he got that day was 257, which is a very high number, but it's not the top for now. But I think Game Freaks is probably going to take the top of the table. He's been working. He's literally been working on his infected strategy for the last 7 months, since like November or December. So he's been working at this for a very long time, and it's finally coming together for him. He's probably going to break. He's going to get close to or potentially break 3 million here. If he can, get the server to work, and if everything goes well with his team, he can do it. But there will be some competition for him here once we get some things figured out, because we're making some changes, some adjustments in my team, and I think the changes we were testing last night should allow us to have a fairly competitive number with that. Yeah, you can just look at the table and pull down a parse. If you're using the STO combat meter, you just go to the official DPS league here, and you can look at the various tables. Most of the tables are just infected in Hive, but there are some ground ones. You can just click a parse, hit the view record log, and you can just take a look at it. You can look at it. You can save a copy of it if you want, things like that. So I think it's nice to have some competition up on the infected table again. Yeah, we are doing split runs. In fact, I've got. Yeah, it's split runs are a must now. This is a record that I did on my science character. I've shown this one on stream before, but this run was almost a 2.7 mil on my Fed Psi. But just unfortunately some things didn't work out and it only uploaded as a 2.5. So yeah, it's three people on the left side, one person on the right, and one person that just nukes the gateway. The issue with split runs is not everyone can do them. The basic guideline that I've been saying to my team is if we bring people in to do these, if the person we bring in cannot take out the start group by themselves in 10 to 15 seconds, it's a waste of time to run them, basically. It's not trying to be disrespectful to people, but when we're doing a high-level DPS thing like this, if people cannot take out the start group fast enough on their own, then they simply are not at a skill level where they can benefit from this type of run. No. There's no parser on console. There's no way to accurately measure DPS on console. People have tried to measure it based on time, but that doesn't really work. So basically almost all of the records from the past couple of months have been split runs. Hansi Houston's group did get a left-right run that was top of the table for a while there. He probably can get like another 100 or so K, I think, in a left-right, but the potential in a split run is just so much higher. Like, you might be able to get a left-right run done in like 60-ish seconds, which, you know, will definitely be pretty good. But these split runs we're looking at in the very near future, with some refinement, some practice, it's looking like over 3 million is going to be fairly doable. The runtime is going to be under 40 seconds. So that there's a lot of there's a lot more potential with a split run than there is a left-right. So, yeah, Colin, if you want to look at for SCM, you have to use the actual parser itself. You have to look at the table inside the parser. There's no website for it. Okay, it's going to be it for today, though. Thank you to everyone that stopped by. It's always appreciated. You know, thank you to all channel members. I think I've got everyone on this list right now. But the help is always appreciated. It does help me out quite a bit. But like I said, that's going to be it for today. Monday, we'll have a new video on Suppression Barrage. Friday, new video on the best cannon scatter volley platforms. Might have a video between Monday and Friday, but we'll have to see. Thanks for stopping by. See you all next time.